classic and modern reviews? What's the difference? Does one of them have something to do with that fuck this, fuck that style of reviewing that all the little kids are so anal about nowadays?
Bakugan Brawl!
Yeah, how cool would these things be in real life? You'd be like, dude, I'm gonna pull some balls out of my pocket that turn into monsters and crush you. Everybody would back off.
Wow, how very journalistic of you. But then again, awesome probably has a different meaning to you.
Seriously, these would be so much fun at parties. Can you buy them at Toys R Us? Do not feed Bakugan after midnight, and whatever you do, don't get them wet. And don't make them angry because they'll destroy your precious landmark.
My god, these guys could give Screw Attack a run for their money.
Excellent hit!
So what have we got here? A bunch of teenagers who can't drive or vote, but have their own spaceship and control monsters that save the world. That's like the recipe for kids' shows going back 30 years.
Alright, let's see here. Pee-wee's Playhouse, The Muppet Show, Today's Special, Transformers, Fraggle Rock, Monkey Booster, you can't do that on television. Nope, nothing about teenagers who own a spaceship and control monsters that save the world. This is the 80s we're talking about, right?
But I have to admit it's strangely well executed here. Bakugan Defenders of the Core, the video game that I'm playing here, is remarkably well done and quite fun. It's basically button-mashing monsters that destroy things. That's a winning formula as far as I'm concerned.
Soon all Bakugan will be ours, and Earth will belong to the Vexos.
Earth will belong to the Vectrex. It just keeps getting...
Cut. Alright, look. It's pronounced Vexos. Okay? Vexos. Alright, let's try it again.
Soon all Bakugan will be ours, and Earth will belong to the Vexos.
Earth will belong to the Vectrex. It just...
No, cut. Listen. It's Vexos.
Vectrex.
No, Vexos.
Vectrex.
Vexos.
Vectrex.
Taco.
Vectrex.
Oh, fuck it. Let's just go with it.
It's improper not to stop for tea time.
Yeah, don't miss tea time. And that's all I got. But it's funny, right?
Well, I'm not the demographic for this game. It's kind of cool. Like, I don't know a thing about Bakugan, but they did a nice job with this game. It's campy, it's cheesy, it's fun, it's well made. It's like a cross between a button-mashing action game where you control giant monsters with a bit of a Metal Gear Solid stealth element.
Actually, there's no cross at all. The majority of the game is that whole button-mashing thing with your Bakugan, giant monsters, while there are separate segments in story mode that require you to play as your created character, sneaking past guards, security cameras, and such. Now, the way I see it, a cross is like the merging of two things, or happening at the same time. For example, Sequence is a cross between DDR and an RPG. But in this game, you don't ever sneak past guards and destroy giant monsters at the same time. That's like saying Sonic Unleashed is a cross between a high-speed platformer and a slow-paced beat-em-up. It just doesn't work that way.
Freeze!
As you control your character, wandering through environments, collecting power that you then use to upgrade your Bakugan and their skills. You avoid guards and robots and traps. It's like Metal Gear if Solid Snake had a giant afro and dished out hugs instead of machine gun blasts.
You know, I bet Sonic would be able to run much faster if he jumped on top of a dump truck, gave Galactus a hug, and broke Darth Boris's table instead of trying to foil some evil doctor's plans time after time.
Each Bakugan has different abilities.
And also collectability cards and other Bakugan that you can use. It's not bad, the camera perspectives are kind of wonky, but really the highlight of this game is fighting with these Bakugan. Like any decent series of toys or cards or games, there's a lot of them. Because it's like an addiction. They're fun to collect, they're all different, they all do different things in battle. And battle is where Bakugan Defenders of the Core shines, because the game looks awesome.
Wait, did you just say that battle is the big shining moment of...
Bakugan Defenders of the core.
Simply because the game looks good? How do you manage to pull that off? That's like if I said that this boat is what truly stands out from this painting because I like looking at it. How does that work? I would love to know.
I like the visual style of this.
I like the word dick-sissle.
Protect your landmark. Defeat all opponents and Vexos crystals.
Oh snap, they're going to destroy something that looks like Stonehenge, but isn't really Stonehenge. How unrealistic.
Was that supposed to be a joke? 'Cause I'm not laughing!
When you're fighting in combat, the controls are fairly traditional. You can lock onto an enemy and dash at them. You have a couple different attacks. And at the bottom right of the screen, you'll notice your ability cards are powering up, and then you can then unleash these special abilities like shields and special attacks. As with the storyline parts of the game, frequently the camera perspectives will get all screwed up, and it's one of those things that you eventually just get used to, but given the frantic nature and speed of the combat, I'm not sure how else they would have done it. It's a fast-paced game, which to me just feels a lot like button mashing, but the further you get into it, the more you have to actually rely on strategy and determine which Bakugan is best for which battle and how to actually upgrade them throughout the game.
Break it! As if I'd let you! Ready to get dominated?
Oh no! They demolished your hologram tower!
That sounds just like the one guy from Voltron. Bakugan, Defenders of the Core, is obviously aimed at the market that is into Bakugan. And if you're in that market, this is a pretty cool game. It succeeds in bringing these ridiculous characters to life and actually conveying their sheer size compared to buildings. It runs smoothly, and in contrast to many other games being released these days, it's bright and colorful and loud, and it looks great. It's not an online game, but you can compete in a two-player battle and also play these other battle arena games with Bakugan that you collect throughout the storyline. If you're into Bakugan and think this looks cool, I think you'll dig the game. It's fun and well made, and if you're a parent whose kids are into Bakugan, the game is rated E, and there's a lot to keep players occupied in Bakugan Defenders of the Core. And you might enjoy it yourself. It's actually kind of catchy. What they need to do now is release a Voltron game for those of us who prefer Voltron to Bakugan, using the same engine as this game, because it looks really cool. If their objective was partly to bring these ridiculous creatures to life, they succeeded. Well done, Bakugan Defenders.
So if you don't have a ball sync, then odds are your game